Morning YouTube. I thought I'd make this video this morning because I think after many attempts I finally found a screen that prevents wind buffeting for me on the MultiStrada 1260S, or in fact probably any MultiStrada. But ever since I've bought this bike, and I've only had it 6 months now, almost 6 months to the day, I've loved the bike in every single way, apart from two things. First of all, the seat, which I think again is a common problem, and secondly, the wind buffeting that you get, especially at sort of 60 mile an hour and above with the standard screen. So the first thing I did, after a bit of advice and forums and so on, always a good place to start, is I bought the Palmer Products windscreen mount, which allows you to push the windscreen slightly further away from you and vary the angle. Now that did work to a degree, but it still gave me this weird sort of vacuum effect where it pushes your head forward when you're at sort of motorway speed. So it helped, but wasn't the final solution. So after I met a few guys at a local sort of Sussex Ducati meeting, somebody had a Jivy touring screen, which is significantly larger than the standard one, and he swore by it. So I tried that, and that gave me different problems or different issues. So my helmet is Shoei Neotech 2 flip face, and I must admit I like riding up until sort of 50-60 mile an hour with the lid open. Now with the standard screen, obviously you can't do that. The top of the lid acts a bit with the sail and it's moving your head around a lot. But one thing I did find with the Jivy screen is that it allowed me to ride with my lid open up until 55-60 mile an hour easily, no problem at all. No flies on there, obviously got a bit of fresh air, and it was reasonably quiet. So that was a real advantage. But as I'm going to use the bike for touring and a fair amount of motorway speeds, I just found the wind buffeting was even worse, to be perfectly frank, than the original. So much so my vision was actually blurred. It felt constant vibration. And so we've got helicopter circulation around here, but it's not the police. Yeah, so I found the wind buffeting even worse with that Jivy screen. So that was a sort of compromise. Loved it, the fact, sort of local roads, B roads, and just sort of bumbling around, you could have the lid open, no problem at all. So again, forums, I found somebody else, or a lot of people, not somebody, but a lot of people recommending the smaller screens. So a bit like the Pikes Peak Carbon, which was all right, it's not quite to my tasting. But then a whole bunch from Puig, I don't know how you pronounce that, to be perfectly honest, so excuse me if you are the manufacturers. And a short sort of racing one. Now, I was a little bit skeptical, to be perfectly frank. And so anyway, it was 70 quid. I bought it from the sports bike shop, so if there are any issues I can always send it back. But lo and behold, for me, it's worked out absolutely perfect. Wind buffeting, not a problem at all. Don't even notice it. I took it out yesterday. This is Tuesday, so I was off on Monday. Took it out on Monday. Around Kent, doing motorway speed plus, and absolutely no problem at all. Admittedly, it is a lot noisier. So the Jivy screen was quite quiet, albeit it was buffeting your head. So like I say, these are all compromise solutions. But one thing I did notice is a lot noisier, obviously, because you've got the air coming direct onto your shoulders and your helmet and so on. So I have also started wearing my earplugs, which I hadn't done for too much up until then, but you do have to wear the earplugs. Once you do that, you get nice and quiet, no wind buffeting, absolutely perfect. I was even surprised as to how few or how little fly swat you have. Obviously it's June, it's slap bang in the middle of June at the minute. There is a lot of flies around, and yeah, the screen gets battered like all of them, and the front of the bike completely covered. But I was absolutely surprised how little there was. I'm not saying there wasn't any, but how little there was on my visor, or in fact on my jacket or anywhere else. So for me, it seems to have worked, seems to have done the trick. So I'll just show you now the difference on the bike, just from a visualization point of view. I've still got my original screen. I've still got the the jivvy screen. So I'll just show you now, just show you the differences and how I've actually got mine set up. Okay, so as you can see, I've got the Puig. Again, excuse the pronunciation. That's it. It is mounted on the Palmer Products adjustable windscreen mount, and I've got it in its furthermost, so you can see, hopefully you can see that gap there. I've got it on its furthermost adjustment. So it is quite upright, but look, I'm 6 foot tall, and it absolutely works perfect for me. Just for a bit of variance, I've got the other two screens here. This is the original, and just to show how different it is, if I just line up the holes there, you can see there that what's that, a good 3 inches, 4 inches, a little bit, you lose a little bit from the side there, but really, yeah, there's not too much difference, but it's amazing what effect that little sort of 3 inches or so at the top, what that actually makes. So I'll just put that one down. This is the much bigger sort of jivvy touring screen, and this is where you really notice the difference. So if I line that one up there, you can see, hopefully you can see, it's a massive difference. So that's how I was riding it. Like I say, I could see just about over the top, being 6 foot, and its highest setting, just about. But you know, with this one, it's you know, obviously it was covered in flies. I could easily ride with my lid open on my Shoei Neotech, and you know, no problems at all with that. But like I say, these big screens cause an awful lot of wind buffeting, and yeah, so I've gone for the Puig, and I must admit I'm more than delighted. So with these, I've gone for the light smoke. You can have clear, carbon, you can have black, all sorts of different shades. I think it's 5 different shades, a deep tint. So I've gone for this one. I think it matches the bike well, and like I say, I'm more than pleased with it. So I hope you found that useful. Like I say, I think finally, I'm a bit of a happy lad. Finally found the screen that suits me. Final thing for me is I've still got to sort the seat out. It's the only thing that's left. I did a 5-hour ride yesterday, 6-hour ride yesterday. Fine, up for about 2.5 hours or so, but then I had to take regular breaks. So next little hunt is going to be the seat. I've got the Touratech on there still. I'm still persevering with it, together with the Airhawk that I put on it. But I'm still on the hunt for the next solution there. Like I say, leave in the comments if you've got any suggestions. I found the suggestions in the last 2 videos really useful. So if you've got any suggestions about what seat I should try, leave it in the comments, and I'll do some research, and you never know, I might seek out and buy one. Okay, hope that's helpful. Speak to you soon.